We'll get there.
Tickets are still on sale for the show this Saturday, our live show, by the way. Hit this. I probably should have mentioned that off the top of
Yeah,
the
I
show.
moved a couple this morning.
Yeah, I saw it in the past week. We sold like an extra 50 tickets. So we're right at the fringe of seating. So if you do want to get a ticket right now, they're still available. They're like $45. The show is going to start, I believe, at 1:30 Eastern time on the Saturday. Doors open at 1 p.m. at the Rec Room in Toronto. But there's seating capacity for up to 190 people, and I think we have like 175 tickets sold already. So there is standing room that you can just hang out by the bar the entire time if you want to, for extra people, an extra 75, I think it is. But even if we just sell out to the seats that are there, I'm very happy with that. Yeah, the link to buy the tickets in the description, by the way.
Listen, I'm happy with any numbers, not knowing all the details, but I'm one of the people like live show, like I'm afraid to sell like 4 tickets. So I'm happy people responded and we're going to fill the chairs.
Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Canadian Open picks, bets, preview, a one and done, a recap of Memorial, maybe some LIV Golf Virginia as well. They don't have the strongest takes on what's going to happen at LIV Golf Virginia. Today is, Jeff, today's the longest day in golf, isn't it? Today's the U.S. Open qualifiers.
It is the longest day in golf. I got way too busy a day because I really thought I'd head out to the qualifier here, which has got a lot of names, like our boy Luke List is out there. And do you know, Pat, this LIV event, we're not going to spend much time on it. This is how long we have been doing this goddamn thing, because it brought back a horrible memory. It is at the same course Troy Merritt won the Quicken Loans at in 2015. It was the first time I ever like guaranteed a golfer would win a tournament, which is a crazy thing to do.
And Ricky came second.
It was Ricky Fowler that week, and he lost to Troy Merritt. It was like my first worst incident of golf podcast betting.
I can't remember if it was that tournament or the Barbasol that Merritt won, that he just went on an all-time heater.
I think it was that one. And it was recently after a Canadian Open where he missed the cut. And then he played my course on I guess waiting for whatever. So I should have liked him, but like I was so angry. So when I heard, and that's like a plotter's course. So I don't know what that means for Rom or Bryson, but obviously like it's a positional golf course.
Well, so what was it, a positional golf course, or was that just a tournament that didn't have a lot of good names in it?
You're right. And it's also like what these drivers and equipment are doing like a decade later. Like there's no such thing. You're right. It might be a muni for Bryson. I know that little. I should have prefaced thank you. Because there's a chance like in 3 hours from now, I'd have just been in there like betting like Abe Answer.
Wait, that might be the move. I'm just trying to look at it right now. So the Quicken Loans in 2015, Jeff, a decade ago, basically today, Troy Merritt gained 10.1 strokes on approach to beat Ricky Fowler. He won by 3. And then there's Lingmerth, Bill Haas, Justin Rose. We got some names here. Danny Lee has experience at this course. He was 4th. Obviously, he's on LIV now. Rose and Justin Thomas were both in 4th place. Now, here's some names for you. Wee Kim. Remember Wee Kim?
Yeah, it's hard to forget that one.
Von Taylor is up there. Tiger played that week. He was 18th.
Oh, that must have been like off of something, an incident or injury, clearly.
John Peterson, wasn't he the guy who had some nice finishes that he quit to be like a mortgage guy? He's essentially the Ben Griffin story, except he didn't come back and win 2 events.
No, I mean, John Peterson had a nice run at a U.S. Open or 2. I think he was a little older when he tossed in the towel. I think he lost his card. I guess, you could try to get it back, but I think he lost his even like Corn Ferry card.
This was the site of Ryo Ishikawa's only top 10 of his career on the PGA Tour. The Brit Brian Davis, Greg Owen, Pat Perez, Willie Wilcox before he became a caddy, Jesus. The Duke? The Herminator? There's classics in this field. Love this tournament.
So yeah, there. But you're right. It's a horrible, like A plus, B doesn't equal C just based on it's a different game now. It really is what like a Bryson can do on a golf course that used to be for shot, like an old classical golf course that used to be for shot makers. Although if you're out of position, maybe it's a bitch. LIV doesn't really set their courses up for like, if you're out of position, it's going to be a bitch, but hey, we'll see.
I have already filmed one U.S. Open show yesterday. I was feeling good. I played with Paul and Jared on Friday, and I was driving the ball masterfully. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out with my buddy who's a pro. We're going to play Oakmont on a sim. I'm playing good golf right now. I can showcase how well I'm playing. Embarrassing, Geoff. I was horrible on this sim. He was great. He shot 3 under.
Golf is cruel.
I don't know what it was. I could not have played worse.
The fine line of golf shows up in this betting board we're about to discuss, I feel.
Well, when we get to the Canadian Open, if you can, and this is a tough guarantee, but if you could guarantee me that Rory doesn't win, I feel like it's a pretty fair odds board.
I agree. My only point being it's like how quickly things happen or flip. And yes, people respond, I was always a hater. I never believed in the guy. But to think we'd be at the Canadian Open and guys like Cam Young and Tigala are 70, 80 to 1. And just name a player. And you were told like a year ago, that player would be half the price of Sahith at this golf course. What on earth? Like golf is just, golf's crazy. Golf's magic. Like, I know, I guess in every sport, guys, are good and then they suck, but it's polarizing, these odds boards each week, how far some guys just drop it quickly.
I ended up having a pretty successful week at Memorial, thanks to my main man, Nick Taylor. I was really hoping he would just hold on and not completely implode, playing in the final group on Saturday, and then obviously in the second to final group on Sunday. And he didn't quite implode, but things got bad for him off the hop both of those days, and he was able to grind a little bit. He jarred that eagle from the middle of the fairway, I think on 14 on Saturday, made the big putt, which made me feel pretty good about the top 8 finish, because it was looking for a while like he doubled, laid up on the hole that he eagled the day before, number 14, the one where you lay up, he lays up into the water. That's something I would do. Like, you know what, Pat? You don't need to hit your driver here. That's okay. That could get a bit wayward. Let's take out a 6-iron and put it down the middle of the fairway. Hook into the water. That like I've done that millions of times.
You're off a bit there. You get exposed, which makes what Scotty does, 1 bogey on the weekend, incredible. Like even the guys that are making tons of birdies, you open up their scorecards and it's a bit of everything inside there. This guy, man, it's just machine-like.
Do you think it's nice? I posed this question on Twitter on Sunday. Is it nice of Scotty on Sundays to make you believe you still have a chance with like a very average front 9 performance, and then he just steps on the gas on the back and all of a sudden he's up by 4 strokes?
Total neutral, not a dog in this race. Early in the tournament, I had some guys 3 under, then I look back an hour later after playing, 4 holes of golf, and they're, they shot 6 over since I last looked. I never, no dog in this race. Never was it anyone else's from the end of Friday almost in my mind. Like just total neutral golf fan. I didn't bet it, so I'm not like, oh, look at me. I've got Scotty, even money or something. Well, I'm so smart. Nah, I bet on my golf tournament. I lose my money. I'm betting every week for the next 4 months. I don't need to triple invest in a golf tournament the week before Canadian Open and US Open. That being said, no, you guys, you might have felt there was a chance. There's not a chance. There was not. Jack said it best. There's fine players. They're fine players. None of them are taking tournaments from Scotty. None of them. And it's maybe easy for me to sit here the morning after, but I don't think I was alone in thinking like, let's make for some good TV. Rom gave us an hour of good TV, 2 hours of good TV, but like, no, I don't know what I'm going to do next week.
I made a bet for the U.S. Open this morning, and after watching the weekend, I saw that Coolbet was still hanging a Straka 80. I had him to win the Open Championship anyway at 110 to 1, but I thought the 80 was a pretty strong number for a guy whose skill set, I think it works one of two ways at Oakmont. Obviously, the big bombers are still going to have the biggest advantage, but keeping your ball simply in the fairway with the approach play that he's been able to do. Like, he and Scotty are the only two players, I think, averaging over a stroke per round on approach so far this year, that if he can just find a hot putter, maybe he can win this.
You open up the approach play, some weeks it's like Scotty-esque. If you took away the name and blocked the other categories and you're like, who is this? My first guess sometimes might be Scotty Scheffler. So that is the highest compliment you can almost offer anyone. It's like how we look for a quarterback who does Mahomesian things. He does Scheffler-esque things, right? And anyhow, that might be crazy. He's not Scheffler. It's Scheffler light. It might be Scheffler non-alcoholic light. Like, that's how light. But there is Scheffler things that can happen in Sepp's game. Beautiful player. Wouldn't shock me at all to see him mix at Oakmont, Pat. Last week, pretty much when we ended recording, I will now next week pretty much make no bets. And as an aware consumer with multiple sports books, some of them only let me bet $0 or $17. $17 parlays, anything I want. Anyone else? Nothing. Single bet on a guy who's 60 to 1? No. Want to throw that in a little parlay, a two-banger with some baseball game? They'll give it to me. Psychos. Anyhow, we have to be aware consumers now. And what I mean by that is, like, there are books that the without markets sometimes open equal to the market, to the win markets. Last week, we both bet Victor. Like, he opened at 35 on a book, quickly got bashed down to 30, while the without Scotty market is still holding a 30. There was a market without Scotty, Colin, JT, and Xander. I mean, none of them mean anything. Screw all of them. There shouldn't be, outside of Rory, there should not be a player under 20 to 1 next week. There should not be a player under 20 to 1 next week. There just shouldn't be. But there probably will be. You have to just use your sports books, use the marketplace. You can find good numbers in the without. And I know there's people yelling, I've been doing that for 2 months. I've been doing that for a year. Well, I'm now there. I'm now the aware without consumer market better. I'm not betting into this shit next week. No fucking chance. And I don't even know how to think. Guy going to come second place? Like a guy that's 4 back with 5 to go? Like, your second place doesn't even mean anything. It's a hodgepodge. I don't even know how to mentally calibrate betting a guy to not win. So I hate it. Because that in itself is its own, like, Sunday clusterfuck that the guy's invested in but doesn't fucking matter. So, yeah, it sucks. But he's not playing this week. Maybe we can catch something.
Hopefully we can catch something. And it now feels like after a little bit of a run earlier on in the season, Pebble Players Masters, Rory had ascended to challenge Scotty as the #1 player in the world. We haven't really seen much of Rory since, but since the Masters, dude can't hit an iron anymore. And I don't know if that's just he's not taking it as seriously anymore, or he's revamping up now for the U.S. Open. Maybe give him a pass on the PGA Championship. He played like crap, still ended up making the cut. But we haven't really seen the best of Rory in 2 months now, that it's tricky for me to figure out what I want to do with him, because I think the TPC Toronto sets up perfectly. But I just want to go back to Scheffler for a second. 3 wins in 4 starts, and the one start that he doesn't win is at Colonial, which is really weird. But that actually makes a ton of sense, that it's a course that's a bit easier for some of the shorter hitters to do what they do well. It's not necessarily a putting competition, but fairways and putter. And then I guess we should talk about Ben Griffin as well. I was weirdly rooting for Scotty to beat Ben Griffin. I think there was a lot of Ryder Cup people who were doing the same thing as well, because the discourse becomes, well, he just won. He got a win at the team event. He just came second at Memorial. Clearly, he's on the Ryder Cup team. Yeah. If the Ryder Cup team was being picked today, yes, I would say that he is guaranteed to be on the team. Unfortunately, that's not the case.
I don't know. I tell you that he's on it.
He's not.
The team's
on
got
it.
a bunch proverbial guys who like never win. Then there's this guy who's got 2.5 wins. Like, I know it's not all about wins, but they have to mean something. Obviously, form will matter, but I don't know. This team told me form didn't matter a decade ago when they didn't bring Billy Horschel after he just won a FedEx Cup. Right?
Yeah, but they couldn't take him after that because all the picks were made before that. They changed everything around that now they would have, and the schedule moved too. That was essentially the Billy Horschel rule.
Okay, well, form doesn't matter. They didn't bring Keegan. So, like, they've established, like, I'm not saying it will always be that way, but USA Golf's kind of been like, we don't give a fuck about form. Ben Griffin with 2.5 wins and one of them being Memorial. I know we could, like, argue semantics. He would have to fucking die to not be on the team. And as I know our boy Powers tweeted it out, thought it was a good joke. Been trying to say it for months. USA, it's just like how Jack described the pack yesterday. Some very nice players. Half the team, very nice players. And yeah, Europe, very nice players. But it never used to be like this. Never. Can't wait. Islander fans gonna save them? We'll see.
If there's a downturn with Ben Griffin and this hot streak ends, I could see him not making the team, is what I'm saying.
Well, had he won yesterday, that'd have been different. And hot streak, like literally like doing what Nick Taylor did and missing cuts for 3 straight months. Yeah, but that's what it would have taken.
And it's not that I think that it's going to go back to that, but it's a hot end of May. It's a hot month of May. And that's what he has on his card right now. We'll see if he can keep it. He needs to continue to be relevant for the next 3 months. Not necessarily winning tournaments, but just not being a disaster. Not going back to being the Ben Griffin from 3 months ago.
You are absolutely right. The problem is, it's like he's got to keep pace with JJ Spawn.
But that's not, no, because I think it actually works out to be different. And I really don't want to have this conversation.
I don't think Spawn's on the team.
But it's not the Spawns of the world he's competing with. There's probably 2 or 3 spots for that level of player. He has to compete. Like, if Jordan Spieth starts coming 4th in these signature events, he's on the team. Like, that's who he's actually competing with. That one of the good guys that we know historic, like if all of a sudden Finau wins 3M and comes 8th at the PGA or at the British Open, he's on the team now.
Yep. But guess what? There's not like 2 spots for this. There is 5. There's 5 open spots. So Spieth or Finau or a Sam Burns, like a guy with equity or name value, has a great summer. Bring him on. Spieth, 4th, dude. Get to finish 24th and you'd get to come. Like Ben Griffin would have to finish 4th. Jordan Spieth has to finish 24th. But to your point, as I think when we've already done this, Nick Taylor doing what he did and then won in Phoenix, and I know it was a full year, it would have been, you couldn't have fathomed Nick Taylor not making a goober President's Cup international team last year when he won in Phoenix. And then there was a whole season of golf and team came and he didn't deserve to be on it and he wasn't on it. So even though maybe he still should have been on it. And that was with the event in Canada. So of course, like these things, they are very fluid, but Ben Griffin would have to die. Like he would have to miss cuts in everything that like Nick Taylor, literally that's what happened for Ben Griffin with the 2 wins to get drawn out by the fine player class of USA Golf at this point. Like Mav McNeely would have to win in the FedEx Cup.
Matt McNeely is just directly behind him in points. Matt McNeely is 8th in points.
Like Mav McNeely a lot. I think Mav McNeely, we're doing the team today. You say he's on an 8th, like he's on my team. And that's a compliment to Mav. Maybe it's an indictment of the situation USA Golf finds itself in. And I love this. People say it's too early. It is never too early to discuss the greatest event the sport has. Oh, never too early as far as I'm concerned. Never.
Trying to think
I
of
love
who the class of player would be. I'm just trying to think of guys they will find a reason to take over the Ben Griffin.
So who's
tier.
on that list? Spieth, Finau, Burns. Who else?
And Cantlay.
Cantley's on the team.
Well, but he's not. I'm telling you about captain spots that are available right now. He's not. He is actually not on the team right now, but he will.
Yeah,
be.
that's fine. He's on the team.
So there's four guys right there that they will look for a reason to take. After that, I think that Akshay, Theegala. I think that Keegan will recuse himself, although he might deserve to be on the team. I think that Berger and Wyndham Clark probably have a leg up on that next year of guy anyway, too, if they can start to flash a little bit of form. And I don't think that the form is going to come because they usually play these as 4-round events, not 1-round events. But Max Homa keeps having a good round. If all of a sudden he wins a tournament, I think that he brings enough name cachet to bump some of these guys off.
Yeah. Maybe. I think Cantlay is literally in his own class of no way he probably doesn't automatic qualifier. Is like there's no way he does not make this team. And I would say even if the team was stronger, there is just no way. He's a far from perfect player. His flaws are showing, but that man answers the bell in this format, and his game in terms of you're not trying to win a golf tournament. He is, I don't even think there's an argument. Like he's in his own class on this team.
I would say that too. And then, yeah, I think that he is going to make the team regardless of what happens, but he's 12th in points right now, as long as he stays inside the top.
Did he not get bumped by Griffin yet?
What?
Where did Griffin go?
Griffin's in 7th.
Yeah, because he was like, okay, yeah.
Like he's quickly catching up to Henley for that last point spot. But Henley's probably going to be on the team, although he is, at least he was on the President's Cup team last year, just trying to think it through. And then you have like Brian Harmon, who's still there, obviously a major winner. He's won
Brooks
already.
is also on that group of players. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, but he actually has to do something.
Yeah, I know, but Brooks, like, I give him more of a compliment than a feat. Like, the second you saw something at that part of the year, like the light bulb goes off huge that maybe we got to include him. Like a semblance of Brooks' form with the timing of the event is really enough to bring Brooks, is all I'm saying.
There was a point, I believe it was on Saturday. I think it was hole 2 or hole 3. And everyone hit it left. Griffin hit it left. Scotty hit it left. Akshay hit it left, who was playing with, I think he was playing with Scotty that day. He was in the second to final group, and he just kind of went away and had a terrible Saturday. And Nick Taylor was over there too. And they all essentially had to punch out and try to run the ball up out of this deep rough at Muirfield Village. Scotty was just able to lay club on it and flight it and get it to stick hole high. Like, this is what we're going to see next week. I've been trying to rack my brain about how, and maybe his lie was better than the other lies. It's impossible to tell how much club you can get on the ball, but it seems to be pretty consistent. You rarely see Scheffler have to hack out of somewhere and lay up. He's kind of going for it every single time regardless.
Like last year at oh my God, at Pinehurst, he says just the inconsistency of all of it, right? That's where he gets got. And as anyone that's been there, you mention it, like tons of inconsistency when you're not fine. I'm fully certain there'll be a lot of consistency in the, I'm 8 yards off the fairway, 6 yards off the fairway, 4 yards off the fairway. That once he gets it, like once he figures out what he's got to do, everyone is probably in big effing in trouble. And it was fun to see Ben Cooley and oh my God, he's one of the originals. He lives in like Africa. Mike Miller. What's his name?
Mike Miller. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They were sort of going at it, saying how Scotty's like plus 250 or 3-1 to win the US Open. And he's 5-1 to win Portrush. And Mike was like, I actually think he's got a better chance to win Portrush. And Ben was like, no, I actually think like he absolutely has a better chance to win the US Open, and I haven't done it justice. They're both brighter than me, but I thoroughly enjoyed just seeing that conversation. Off the top of my head, I think that Portrush could narrow sort of like a Colonial. I think, Open Championships, there could be variables that allow, just a different player profile to mix. Well, at the U.S. Open next week, I think Scotty's playing 12 people.
That I agree with you, and it's not only the inconsistencies potentially of the course itself that could be a variable, it's also everyone starts on one and you play all day long at the Open Championship, which leaves some players exposed to just playing in awful conditions where guys 7 hours later don't have to play in that. If you get caught in the bad wave, you could be fucked.
Yeah, wait. Should be great. I don't know. I'm not betting against him for the foreseeable future.
Oh, I will. Listen, guys go through stages. Scheffler did make every 5 to 15 foot par putt over the weekend as well. That's not usually something he does.
Yeah, and his putting could get exposed at Oakmont.
I watched DJ play I went back, I watched the full final round, but then I watched every shot that DJ hit. Like, there's a supercut on YouTube, just every shot that he hit. Forgot that Fox did the broadcast. Remember when Fox was doing broadcasts?
Yeah, Fox did that in Chambers. Quick in, quick out for them. I'm certain, like, if Buck had 4 or 5 years, we'd probably now be like, Buck's like really good at golf.
I'm sure he would be, but it just seems so strange Fox covering it.
Yeah, that's
They didn't have they didn't have the reps. If they were doing regular tournaments, I think it would have been fine. But it's like, hey, we're going to parachute in to do the U.S. Open and the U.S. Women's Open. Everything that happened this weekend too. Cust really helped out Aaron Hills in a big way. In our DMs, he was like mocking Aaron Hills because the scores were just so low because someone was 7 under after 2 rounds, and I think the winning score was 8 under. That seems pretty U.S. Open type to me.
Yeah, it seemed to be beautiful. It's beautiful. Caught some of that women's golf. Had no bets on it or anything. I say this a lot, and golf is what it is. Not just like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like lift up. Like when they play the PGA Tour, like it could just suffer. I'm pro PGA Tour clearly. But like it just suffocates everything. Like I think it's pretty dumb. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Let's rewind. Do you think it like doesn't matter? Like should the women not schedule their event around a memorial? Like that feels as dumb as like when LIV played against Pebble and Bay Hill. Or should the PGA have respect to schedule around women's majors an event like Memorial? I'm not saying I would like if the men are playing. I would watch the worst swing season event before I'd watch the best women's event. Like if the A+ tour or brand is running, I will watch that over any B flight, women, anything. But they just suffocate each other at all times.
I don't know if one takes away from another. If there was no PGA Tour event going on this week, which is impossible because they run every week, how much interest do you think that there would have been more for the U.S. Women's Open? Because I tuned in for like 20 minutes. I wanted to see Aaron Hills just because as a U.S. Open setup. How different was it when the guys played there almost, 8 years ago now? Is it playing with a bit more teeth? That's really what I wanted to see. I didn't bet on it. I had no real interest in watching it. Then I flipped back over to Memorial. But would I have stayed there? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's the question. If like there was no men's golf, PGA golf, LIV golf, would you have watched the women's US Open, or you would treat it like there's just no golf on? I don't know.
It feels like
great. It seemed like it was close.
It feels like it has its own audience, is what I'm trying to say. Like until they get a Tiger Woods type star, which has just never happened for that tour, it's going to be hard to convert casual viewers over. Who is in our lifetime, who is not the best women's player, but who is the biggest women's player? Like, honestly, it feels like it's Michelle Wie.
Annika
was the best, but was Annika moving the needle?
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't even know that there's ever been like an appointment TV. Like I've never had to get home to watch women's golf.
Like what happened to Rose Zhang? Wasn't she supposed to be awesome?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't follow I don't know what her results are.
I just feel like I hear a lot less about her this year than I did last year.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, but I don't know. I don't really see or hear anything PGA unless it's getting pumped by some of like the just like mainstream golf stuff that I follow.
They got to pull the TGL move and just pay people to talk about it.
I guess.
That might not.
I don't know. I guess
it feels like you want to say something, but you're not saying it.
No, I sue. No. I just have nothing to say, and I don't know how to transition clean. And I feel like I've already made like a waste and a mess of this. That's really what's going through my head.
Do you have any other thoughts about Memorial? Like anything that stood out to you? Like, let's just say Ludwig leading in tee to green in round 4.
It's a good sign. Just a lot of like a hodgepodge of everything from a lot of good players. There's not a ton of confidence in a lot of good players heading into the US Open.
It's true. Maybe that list of 12 that you talked about is actually 6.
Yeah, maybe. And I do mean it though. I guess Bryson, I take that back. I said Bryson should be under 20-1. No one else should be under 20-1 to win the US Open.
Rory
other
should.
than those 3 guys.
Yeah, those 3 guys.
Yeah,
it's those 3 and then everyone else. If Xander was in better form or Rahm was in better form, I think you could make the case for them most assuredly. Morikawa, because of his accuracy, you saw that type of player near the top. I just actually have it pulled up right now, just taking a look at the guy, because I was trying to figure out, obviously, driving distance is going to be the most influential thing like it is at every single U.S. Open. But this leaderboard actually had a weird mix of super bombers and then super accuracy players, or guys that you associate with it. Like Kevin Na came inside the top 10. Jim Furyk came second. Zach Johnson, David Lingmerth. Who else was up there? Leishman. I guess not so much Leishman. Graham McDowell. And even for the first 2 days, there was a lot more accuracy-based players up there. But when it came down to it, and you just sort by driving distance, who led the field in driving distance? It was DJ. He won. Justin Thomas was second in driving distance. He came 32nd. Rahm was an amateur, came 23rd. He was third in driving distance. Brendan Steele, Sergio, 15th and 5th. And then you get into kind of like the meat and potatoes. Grace was inside the top 10. He came 5th. Landry was with Dustin most of the tournament until a really terrible Sunday. He was 10th in driving distance, came 15th. So a lot of different guys who were up there, but it did seem like you're going to have to hit your fairways so you don't get absolutely screwed by some of this rough, unless you just draw the greatest locations of all time every time. And as someone who just played it on a sim, even that there's a lot of spots where you can miss where it's not such a fun time. That long and straight is going to be the key, which all of a sudden just leads you right back to Scheffler again.
I mean, then you watch some of these videos and you remember it. It's like one of the hardest courses in the world. And last time we were there, the person, at least in my opinion, maybe you could say Spieth was the best golfer in the world, but there was no chance that he was a better course fit for Oakmont than Dustin was. Not a chance in the world. And this course that they call the hardest thing on earth, the best golfer in the world, as far as I'm concerned, won that golf tournament at the time. And I'm not betting it, but I'd be surprised if he didn't win next.
Scotty, you're saying, not Dustin again, not Dustin on the repeat.
No, not Dustin on the repeat. And like, oh, Scott, Jesus, I don't even know what to do. My buddy like even texted. I'm sure I'm not the only one. It's like, Scotty's making it not, betting golf not fun. And I'm like, well, when you do it every week, there are a lot of non-Scotty events, so let's have some fun.
Well, a non-Scotty event is taking place this week at TPC Toronto. The Canadian Open, the second oldest non-major running event. Do you know what the longest one is, by the way?
Non-major?
Non-major. Longest running non-major on the PGA Tour.
Colonial?
The BMW Championship somehow.
I wish Tim was here to tell me like what it was called through its iterations. Okay.
Well, you'll be able to see a little bit more of Tim on the US Open show next week, but we're going to be talking about the Canadian Open, the odds boards, and our picks right after this. I want you to think about 2 things. 1, what makes your father special? Number 2, what makes all fathers the same? The answer to number 2 is that they are impossible to buy Father's Day gifts for. Who knows what your dad needs? But I can tell you one thing that the vast majority, almost all of fathers enjoy: steak. Barbecuing. It's perfect. When it comes to Father's Day, some things never change. A recent survey shows 75% of Americans agree there's no better way to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. So, shop omahasteaks.com and give your dad the legendary Heartland quality he deserves. Plus, my listeners get an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. They also carry mouth-watering burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, dessert, and easy-to-prepare comfort food. This Father's Day, give Dad the world's best steak experience with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for a guaranteed perfect gifts that deliver legendary quality. For an extra $35 off, use promo code MAYO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code MAYO at checkout. See site for details. I was having some problems sleeping. When anyone has little kids, that's probably going to be the case. They'll come up, wake you up in the middle of the night for no real apparent reason. So you're waking up, you're going back to sleep, you're waking up, going back to sleep. It's not the best sleep. I put my Apple Watch on and tried to track my sleep tracker. It was not going well. A lot of that changed once I got a Helix mattress, however, because I was able to customize it to both what I want, what my wife wants, and now we are sleeping throughout the night. The little noises that would just normally wake you up when you're not sleeping well, no longer the case for me. No more back pain either, because I'm actually sleeping on a mattress that is perfect for what my back demands, which is a lot because I have a terrible back. The one that I had before my Helix mattress, I spent a lot of money on it. It was bad after like 2 years. It had like the divot in it from where I sleep. It was unflippable. It was a horrendous waste of money. Not only is the Helix mattress I have now way better, it was also significantly cheaper. And it just showed up to my door in a box. Very easy to get onto my bed frame and just start using right away. So you can have all your problems solved with a Helix mattress as well. So you can go to helixsleep.com/mayo for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/mayo for 20% off site-wide. Be sure to enter my name at the checkout so they know that I sent you. helixsleep.com/mayo. TPC Toronto, nowhere near Toronto. You did the Waze for it, didn't you?
Yeah, I Wazed it at like 11:30 at night on Saturday. It said it would still take me an hour. I'm not going. I mean, obviously, we're busy this weekend. If I did go, it would be tomorrow on the Tuesday. I think Tuesdays are such a great day to go. I don't want to schlep out there. Yeah, I didn't bug anyone for a media credential or anything. I just not interested. I thought you and Eric did a great show. I thought you did a great show talking about the history. I loved your line, like they've brought it to a course that sets up perfectly for Rory, like as if that's part of the plan. Maybe it is. Like maybe it is. That wouldn't hurt it. I'm sure that would make RBC absolutely thrilled about it. But again, I thought you and Eric did a great job in breaking it down. My concern, though, about the property is, and I think Eric alluded to this, the Greater Toronto area-based golf fan is not starving for pro golf. As we said, this tournament has just been a staple in the city. They have not moved it around the country for forever, over a decade. So, will people want to schlep out there? And the property is just a sheer cow pasture. Recently, just classical, old-timey city classical golf courses, tree-lined. This is a cow pasture property. It's a beautiful property. I've played the sister course. It's called like the Hoot. That's on site multiple times. It's a lovely run. I've never gone to the Champions course there. It's been under renovation for a bit. Then obviously with the tournament, and my buddy loves the other course a lot. Nonetheless, I I don't know what it'll feel like. I think it could feel like you could be watching it and thinking there aren't a lot of people there when there's just as many people that have been there at Canada or at Oakdale, at Hamilton, at St. George's. Just the sheer volume, size of the property will allow Golf Canada to do everything it wants to do in the future. And whatever doesn't go right this year, hopefully they fix next year. And there's no way this year is going to go perfect. It's just impossible. But Golf Canada's been pretty good the last few years, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, even if this one gets away from them a bit.
You hit on it, and this is what I tried to express when I did that rant at the beginning of the research show, and I've been writing it out. I think the written thoughts are a bit more concise than my sprawling off-script type of rant was, but the vibes have been so good for this tournament the past 3 years, and I think this course is impossible to replicate those vibes. Like on site, the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, everything was so tightly packed at the other courses that it made you feel like it probably presented even differently on TV. But hey, I don't want it to fail, but I'm not thrilled with this. I'm not thrilled. It's just the classical TPC golf course. They own it now, they'll run it, but it just seems like such an inconvenient haul. And I got no interest. I got no interest. But hey, if they create a party, I'll go next year.
Yeah, if they can surprise us, maybe that will be the case. I even got Carter sent me a message. Just said, the Caledon area loves golf. You'll be surprised. I'm not saying that the area doesn't like golf. I'm just saying the area just doesn't have that many people to go. And people downtown
for the people,
don't want to go.
Yeah, and for the people in the local businesses, like, I'm sure it'll be great. And Eric is right. There are a lot of, like, I'm an hour. There are a lot of people who are a half hour. Granted, if you're on the other side of the city, the East End, as Eric joked, you're like 2 hours from this thing. And like we've pointed out, we are not like a golf-starved region. We are the most full-bellied golf fans in Canada. Truly. Like, that's why I say, like, we're always shocked. We're still shocked in year 4. LIV does not take the free pass of playing in Canada. For one, it allows them to just put another flag on the board, and that's their whole shtick. It ingratiates it to sort of the North America audience with the time zone, and there are parts of this country that are starved. Like, the crowds they would get out west if Brooks, Bryson, Rahm walked in, Phil, DJ, to the moon. I mean it. So I'm surprised LIV is yet to take that layup. I'm kind of shocked, but hey, they'd rather, Canada's a nothing burger, I guess. That's how they see it, which might be true. Might be true. Some are agreeing, some aren't. But yeah, this allows, like, the build outs. This just allows them to do. It's what they have here is what, like, we talk about, like US Open and PGA Championship sites are like mandatory now. Just these huge sprawling properties that allow it to be more than a golf tournament.
Yeah, I think that's completely true. And maybe they can build it up that way, get the people out. I'm actually excited to see the course on TV, weirdly enough. I don't know if it's going to be challenging the way that you would want a national open to be, but when you take a look at the scorecard, it's a par 70. It has almost scorecard-wise the exact same dimensions as Oakmont.
I did not know, thanks to your research show, not that it mattered to anyone else who'd never laid eyes on the property. I was unaware that they'd cut down all that high grass, which does, I guess, make a ton of sense. And I'm sure it's been lush and raining here. It was a wet May. Not a lot of golf played here by casuals in May, just at the amount of not nice days. And I don't play when it's cold anyway. But I was surprised to hear that. But that doesn't mean they can't grow it out as far as they could. But I just say that as someone that has never played the property or played that course, been on the property a bunch, eating lunch, looking at the property. I just have this visual of all this high grass out there. So that's gone. And if I didn't know that, I'd have been talking about it today. I
And,
mean it.
but they probably, the rough was cut down when EPAT was there, 3 weeks ago. They may have let it grow out
Yeah.
since then. And if there's rain in the forecast for the day before, there's a little bit on the weekend. Like we're supposed to play on Friday. There's going to be rain in the forecast that day, but it doesn't seem like it's a lot. And we did talk about how wind can really affect this course in particular. Looking at it visually, it really strikes me like that Trinity Forest course in Dallas. Remember that one? They moved the Byron Nelson there for 2 years. I think Aaron Wise ended up winning, or Sung Kang ended up winning, but it was just a giant field essentially. Like Aaron Hills, that if the wind doesn't come, it gets super easy, but if the wind comes, it gets super hard.
Yeah, I mean, the fairways seem wide, but Golf Canada, be it like just, you guys got the US Open next week. So, when you're off, we're going to make you hit at a heavy rough. I believe like 2 yards off the fairway is going to be quite penal. That has been consistent through Golf Canada, especially with the move to before the US Open. Now, maybe that was also maybe part of the move because they went to these like shorter classical golf courses that they had to make it Mrs. Penal, or the winning score could have gotten out of hand. I still to this day shocked at the low winning score at Oakdale. Anyone that ever walked on that property never would have guessed they would have gone shot that high.
Yeah, was it 13 under?
Yeah, like no one. And all the how they not gonna like rip a 22 out here. But so I Golf Canada does a great job, and the conditions have allowed them to set it up any which way they want. I'm certain they don't want to be embarrassed, but I think we have to be mindful of the fact that this is very much like going to be a learning experience for them on their brand new property.
Nick Taylor won at 17 under at your course in 23. Last year it was 16 at Hamilton. Rory won at 22 in Hamilton, but he went nuclear on that final day. Rory won at 19 at St. George's. So it looks like they want it to be minus 15 to minus 20, I think is where they want the score. But this is a par 70, so it might be a little bit higher than that being, it's minus 13, but really it's like minus 21.
Maybe. I guess the scoring is it's all important. I believe it will play harder than Eric suggests, although his opinion is probably more informed than mine. I mean, easier. I think it'll play easier than Eric suggests.
I think it's conditions based. If the wind does gust up to 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, I can see it getting really hard. If it's benign, I can see the guys tearing it apart. It's a lot like the open style courses where if you just simply don't get wind, guys are just going to go pin seeking. Which is weird because it's going to be the opposite of what we see next week. That's one thing that I really noticed with Dustin and why Scotty is probably the perfect man for the moment at this U.S. Open. And all U.S. Opens are like this, but I think Oakmont in particular, just don't try to bite off any more than the course gives you. Put it to 40 feet and make your two-putt and move on. That will just keep you near the very top of the leaderboard. Maybe you'll sink a 25-footer. That'd be great.
You're going to have to, I have full confidence one of these world-class players is going to have no problems this week. I'm not smart enough to know who it's going to be, though.
Let's talk about the top odds then. Rory is the overwhelming favorite, two-time winner of this event, although it is the first time at this course. Plus 450 at CoolBet right now. Our good friends at CoolBet. You can hit the description to opt in to, or the comment section, to opt into the Cabot giveaway. You can find all the information down there right now. After him, it drops immediately to Ludwig at 15. Corey Connors between 18 and 20. Lowry at 22. You got Bobby Mack at 30, Pendrith at 30. You can get them as high as 33 if you wanted it. Sungjae, Burns, Harry Hall, Nick Taylor. That's a top 10 on the odds board. I think it's a pretty strong field, but when I think strong field, it's sort of that 40 to 100 range. And weirdly, unlike last week, maybe because there was far better names in that field at Muirfield Village, that Rory does seem to be pushing people down this board a lot, whereas Scotty didn't a week ago.
Which is kind of surprised by that. I got no qualms with these numbers. I think it's a pretty fair ordering of what this field is. Like you said, I'm kind of proud that they get this field. I think you made a good point of the non-elevated events. I think it's as strong as a field. Like when you how do you put this? Like baseball has all these like fancy stats that doesn't even matter if like you got a hit, if you hit it hard, like that's really valuable, right? Or like ballpark conditions. When you consider the field strength to the scheduling spot, I think there's some Q rating that this is very much like near the top. Off like once you take off the preeminent events.
I would tend to agree. It's a national open. The Scottish Open has similar feelings to it the week before the Open Championship. Guys want to get prepped. I think it's weird that doesn't command a better field, although the field is quite good. I'm shocked more of the top end players don't play in it simply to acclimate themselves with the time zone, the conditions, just to get 4 rounds in competitive play in what is completely foreign to most American players.
I would agree. Hey, whatever they're doing, keep it up. Because the week before a major, I've been impressed what they're able to get to come across a border.
So, do we just dump on Rory? Rory plus 450?
That's not really my style.
Would you consider it here?
I mean, I don't think it matters. But Rory will not touch the property until Wednesday. Harry will be out walking it probably tomorrow and Wednesday. Rory will play a couple holes. He will play tournament holes like totally blind, having never seen it before. Granted, when EPAD says it's probably driver on like 13 or 14 holes, I don't know that it matters.
It's probably true. Plus 450 seems, I don't want to say generous, but with the strength of this field, he's very clearly the best guy. Do you have the faith that he can run train on a field like this?
Yes, obviously because he is Rory. It's funny, outside of Canada, usually just wins at courses he is like comfortable with or like knows, right?
Well, when was
or
the
like
last
played many times?
When was the last time he won a goober tournament?
Canada?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's Canada, really. And the year that he won at St. George's, I went over this, but that was a super field that year. That was directly when the LIV stuff got announced. And remember, they kind of went on a press tour where Scotty, Xander, JT, Rory, like the big 8 on tour, all played in all of these events, and the Canadian Open was one of them.
That is pretty awesome. That like, yeah, we got a super field because it was like the unified front on this run of events. It's a crazy thing that'll never happen again. Well, I shouldn't say that. I could be a sucker, but of this like group at the top, probably lean to Ludwig at 15-1.
I feel like that's too high for the way that he's playing.
He's been playing pretty ass.
Yeah, he had a good final round at Memorial. Was that enough to sucker you back in?
This course seems to fit him.
He's played a lot of courses that seem to fit him lately. Hasn't worked out.
That's hard to disagree with that. There's like, in terms of guys actually like want to bet to win, you know, there's not much under 30-1 when I'm not betting Rory.
Well, there's only 4 guys under 30-1, so I'm not betting Lowry. I would have more faith that Lowry wins the U.S. Open next week than wins at this course. Connors, I'm just not getting there at 20-1. I think that Ludwig's overvalued at 14. Weirdly, I like the guys in the 30s. I like Burns, Clanton, Bobby Mack, and Pendrith, who I'm going to bet there. Do I want to bet like 3 of those guys instead of Rory, or just bet Rory? That's where my week, I think, comes down to.
Yeah, so for me in there, be like Burns and Pendrith.
Not the defending champ, Bobby Mack?
Nothing against Bobby, but right now I would lean Burns and Pendrith.
Okay.
Pendrith has played more. This might not be a good thing. I don't think it's even close. Outside of maybe some Canadian amateurs who have qualified. Like Pendrith has played more rounds on this golf course than anyone. He's been here a lot.
Let's do it.
Unless that's just like a rumor or a joke by the grounds crew to tell people anytime they come here, oh, Pendrith was just here. Oh, you just missed Pendy. But no one will have the familiarity of the property that Pendrith has.
Coming off being only second to Scotty at Memorial and approach as well. And we know that he has that's why I like him the best of the Canadians. I just think he has the distance to make this course substantially easier for him with 6 par 4s over 480 yards.
Pat, we went forever. I literally thought, like, if I had to make one claim a decade ago about the sport of golf, outside of my fever pitch confidence that Jordan Spieth would have a very tough time once he fell finding it again, would be that no Canadian would ever win the Canadian Open. We did not think it was possible, truly. And you know what's so sad about it is the one thing that I thought was totally impossible became possible at the hands of Tommy Fleetwood is actually the thing that doesn't win. So, like, it's this like joy-hate moment that is always will never go away for me, because I do feel great pride in that Nick Taylor moment. Anytime I see the highlight, it's, you know, you'll be at my club this week. It is no secret when you go through the locker room or enter into one of the enter into the main entrance what happened there. But also, you know, still feel bad. Oh my God, Tommy, man, fucking couldn't birdie that hole.
I like McIntyre again. McIntyre's sneakily playing some pretty good golf now. Even at Memorial this week, he just couldn't chip. Like, he lost a bunch of strokes chipping. And out of that thick rough, that's going to be the case. But his ball striking has been on point. He was 6th at Colonial. I know these are 2 completely different courses, but we like to bet on guys who never win. How about we bet on a guy who has won twice in the past 12 months?
And National Opens. That's his jam.
Because I was trying to figure out between him and Burns. I liked what I saw from Burns at Memorial. It was the first time he gained on approach in 4 months. So that was substantial. He started hitting his irons really well again. But he will find you a double bogey when you least need it.
Okay. So, like, Burns, part of it is like, I want to get cocky and call this. I feel like I picked him at last year's Canadian Open, just under the sense that there's a time this guy would bully these sorts of fields. Like, he would just bully. The elite driver, elite putter combo would just bully. He'd go to these lower end fields and we'd all be like, why doesn't Finau play these events? Why doesn't, like, name the guy that we rag on for not winning enough, or a guy who hasn't won in forever? Like, you want to win? Copy Sam Burns' schedule. He likes to win. Like, this course makes me kind of want to bet Sam Burns. Unless I kind of either see, it's almost a weak pat where you're either going to, like, bet the top, or you're maybe just betting like 1 or 2 guys here and then nothing else to like 80-1.
I have very little interest in this 40 to 100 range, honestly. So I could see myself loading up on 3 of these guys, 3 long shots, calling it a week, unless I decide to take the plunge on Rory, and then the card becomes Rory and 3 guys from 150 to 1 and beyond, and hopefully grab some places with them, and Rory ends up running away with it. Like, I am deathly terrified of Rory at this course. This is Clanton's debut as a pro, but obviously we've seen him have success on tour already. It's not like he got his card because of PGAU. He earned enough points by playing so well on the PGA Tour to do this. He sets up great for this course. He's going to absolutely mash it off the tee. He's going to have a bit of fire in him. That's the one thing I worry about with Burns. I would have thrown Theegala and Cam Young into this mix as well, but they could use some positivity in their life right now. Not that Burns can't, but they're obligated to come play this tournament because of RBC. And this is going to be the second of 4 weeks in a row, and it's probably the least important tournament to those guys. Memorial, US Open, Travelers, a major, 2 signature events, and this one that they're contractually obligated to play. That'd be my one drawback on Burns. Maybe when he gets there, it doesn't make a difference whatsoever. You never know these things. But with Clanton, I would be worried that if out of the gate we hadn't had much experience with him already. Also, he wouldn't be 38 to 1, whatever he is, to win the tournament if he had not had that success already. But it seems like a good course for him. Obviously, he needs to start winning now to get his tour card, get into majors. It's now almost like it was for Ludwig when he showed up to Oakdale.
So I have no interest in Clanton winning this week, but I suspect he'll show himself well and do fine. But winning this golf tournament, walking in first as a pro, yeah, we've seen him before. It's a double-edged sword, because when we first were watching him, it felt like the broadcasts were putting pressure, or the lead into the event, it felt like there was pressure because it was like he has to do this or he has to make the cut to get the card. It was like exactly what he needed to finish. And maybe you're now saying now that he has the card, he can play free. But you're saying no, now that you got these exemptions, you've got to earn that card, so to say. That being said, I'm not betting 35 to 1. I've seen a 45. And maybe that will even get enhanced later in the day, but there's probably a better chance that comes down to the market. I'm just not betting him to win. Winning's hard. Can't be that easy. Even Ludwig in his first start, I saw him hit the ball that week. In my person, my jaw hit the ground. I was floating on air, walking with him on a Tuesday. I still didn't really have any interest in betting him to win the golf tournament.
The Travelers Championship, the Northeast one and only PGA Tour signature event. Can it surpass the excitement of last year's thrilling finale when Scottie Scheffler broke away from the loaded leaderboard with 3 straight birdies in the back 9 during the final round, leading to a dramatic one-hole playoff with Ton Kim winning him his 6th PGA Tour victory of the year. Will Scottie repeat as champion? Come watch as the world's best PGA Tour players try to dethrone him. All of them competing all 4 days at TPC River Highlands. The action begins June 19th and runs through June 22nd. For tickets and information, visit TravelersChampionship.com to see the greats, including Scottie Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Ludwig Aberg, and the rest. The Travelers Championship. There is only one. I just think, looking at the odds board, that there does seem to be a substantial gap after this, although the odds would not dictate that you have that pocket of 4 or 5 guys. I'll throw Sungjae into it as well. I don't love Sungjae for this course, so I'm not going to bet him. But Burns, Clanton, McIntyre, Pendrith, Sungjae. The tier after that, I feel, goes pretty downhill in terms of how confident I feel someone can win a tournament, because you're all of a sudden at 40 to 1 and you have Harry Hall and Wyndham Clark and Thorbjorn Olesen, Keith Mitchell, Mac Hughes, Kitayama, Dietrich, Davis Riley. Not that these guys can't win the golf tournament, but it seems like they are a cut below the rest of the guys in the higher 30s.
I would agree with that. I'm sort of in that next tier. I think my favorite player, I don't know, in the low 50s would probably be Alex Noren, but I don't know that he's a course fit per se. But I could see, I think being in the fairway will be paramount, and being able to hit your long irons might end up being paramount here. And the one thing I'm not sure about, this doesn't specifically relate to Noren, but I don't know how important scrambling is going to be.
I think it's either going to be hugely important, conditions pending, or not important at all.
Yeah, that's probably fair. And if you wanted to take a lane, now I'm going a little down the board here, but I'm probably not the only one who had a thought should I just go, they say it's big hitters could do well here. Should I just be going double Hogjaard in hopes chipping doesn't matter?
Well, I know one person who's using a Hogjaard this week.
Okay, for sure. Yeah. Not that I might be able to pick him out either, but okay. Yeah. I don't think it's crazy.
No, it makes sense, but I would have no interest in betting him to win this tournament at his current odds. Rasmus is 50 to 1?
Well, I'm seeing a 75 on a grid for Rasmus.
And then Nikolai's 100 then? I always get the J and the G mixed up. Rasmus is 80 to 1, Nikolai's 100 to 1.
Okay. They both can't chip. So the moment you see chipping's going to matter, then you're like, oh, rip that up.
Like, would you care more for like a Norgard or even like we talk about Clanton up at the top of the board? Thorbjornsen is back following his WD. He's at 80-1. He's been playing great golf.
So I'm happy you brought him up. I was going to for sure bring him up. When you withdraw with a wrist injury, and because there's no like actual golf reporting, and like obviously we care about the guys that win or the guys that don't win, but we're aware enough as golf fans to know no one on site is like going to get to the bottom of a Michael Thorbjornsen like withdrawal injury. So we just see wrist come out as the official word, and like obviously as golf fans, a panic. Like wrist, season over. I was so happy to see him in this field because that means like, if you want to go home, Pat, if you're a golfer, you just put wrist and no one questions you, because like it could be season-ending severity that there's just so much respect and grace to like, like backing out because of a wrist that it's like you don't want to go to it's like golfer's version of like you don't want to go to your wife's friend's wedding. You say my wrist hurts, like. Just put that in golf tournament terms. No one's going to come down on you. You have carte blanche to say your wrist hurts. Now, maybe 2 weeks later when you're playing again, people can raise an eyebrow. But as someone that loves this kid and thinks like a month ago he'd be perfect for this course, I'm thrilled. I don't like enough at the top where there's a card construction that I don't bet this guy. I mean that. I'll bet him.
85 is the best number you're going to find as an outright win right now. I was considering taking the 70 with the 8 places.
See, that seems like good math.
Okay. Thank you.
No, listen, like you are, I mean, I'm sure there are smarter people than us who can like run a formula to see if like that actually makes sense. I didn't do well in grade 9 math. I probably did worse in grade 10 math. In this province, you don't even have to take math after grade 10. So I stopped doing math a long time ago. But that seems like 15 points for those placings seems fair. 7 spots for 15 points. I don't know that I'm going to do it, but the maths.
And I want to have some outs that if I bet Pendrith when you said it. So I bet Pendrith at 33-1, which means that I'm not going to bet Rory. So if Rory runs away with this, I do want to, almost like last week, that I had a winning week at Memorial because of Nick Taylor.
I was thinking of you. I didn't look back to watch it, but I definitely rolled my eyes when you said you were betting Nick Taylor. Like, for sure. Someone could roll the tape if they wanted. I know I did. I don't have to see it again.
It ends up becoming... My case was, hey, Nick Taylor wins and he has no four. It's almost like the old Siwoo thing where if Nick Taylor is simply, this week he's 35-1 or something. I'm not going to bet him this week. But if you just see him at 200-1, it's like, this is a guy that wins golf tournaments and plays with the big boys. It's whether he's got it that week or he comes dead last. And in the outright betting market, that's not that big of a difference. I'm just glad that he was able to hold on to those 8 places for me and I got to walk away with like a 37-1.
I could go down a rabbit hole though in this like kind of in front of 100-1 range.
Well, Ben Ann's here.
And I'm seeing 100-1 on Ben Ann.
I didn't realize he was playing that poorly. It doesn't feel
Which is crazy because against these fields, he was 30-1 before the Masters, 35-1. I was like, how is Ben Ann this number?
He hasn't finished inside the top 20 of a tournament since the Valspar. Now, he was 21st at the Masters, but he's lost on approach in 5 straight. He's lost off the tee in 4 of 5. He feels like he's lost his game at the moment. All the things that he does well, he is not doing. He's not even doing them average anymore. He's doing them below average.
Yeah, and unlike, say, someone else here, like a Jake Knapp, I don't even know that he can win. Like, it's not like he has win equity and he's playing poorly. Like, if you wanted to back a Homa or a, you know what I mean? Like a guy who's a winner, but he's shit right now. I don't even know. We can't even say that with Ben. I would so much rather, Pat, throw my bullets on Thorbjornsen, on Hetsutsune, maybe your boy, Kevin Yu, Nicholas Norgard. Like, I would so much, like, there's more I like back here than that. I would no way get to Ben N. There's just too many guys I don't hate.
Would you go down the Woodland, Cam Young, Thigala path?
No.
Theegala
Cam Young might have more life than Theegala right now.
Theegala missed the cut at Memorial. However, he did gain on approach, which was nice. It's nice to see him do something positive. He's been bad, man. I can't believe he fell off the way that he did. This is a guy who was playing late Sundays in majors 12 months ago.
What a crazy sport. Awesome. Like, yeah.
Although those guys,
he's on our Ryder Cup team at Christmas for sure.
Yeah. Like, we were surprised he didn't play as much during the President's Cup with the way that he was playing. Byron especially.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. I don't know that this speaks for everybody, but like the Bet Every Day website, if you like turned every day into the calendar days of the year amount, just dropped Pendrith to 22-1. Like, it's a bunch of Canadians just smash him.
Well, he's currently still 33 at CoolBet, which you can just hit the description and get yourself all signed up over there. If you live in Canada outside of Ontario, that's where I bet it. But I saw the same thing you did. It went from 30 to 22 instantly on my screen. On the other side, I was like, what? He's down to 20 in the unenhanced market. He has the same odds as Shane Lowry.
Yeah, that's just crazy. This is like, and don't get me wrong, I bet him at like 35-1. Or no, maybe it was 50 at the Genesis, and he went off at like 30. And I'm not bragging about the sale, but it was like embarrassed that Pendrith, that many people were betting Pendy to win an elevated. Yeah, he's feels like as much as Connors is the guy, it feels like Gambling Golf Twitter has earmarked Pendrith as the Canadian of choice.
Trying to find out. So
it actually might be a great course for Connors too.
Yeah.
Like, if it is just position, like you need driving distance, but you need driving accuracy as well. And the guy can, like, if he can flush, he's like long irons could be right in a Connors wheelhouse. What is the perfect Sunday for Canada golf? Rory versus a Canadian with
Ludwig versus a Canadian.
Yeah. Guess it wouldn't get better. It doesn't get better than that.
It's funny because Connors is probably the biggest, like most well known. I weirdly think that like Rory Taylor would be the perfect final pairing because that means Taylor's playing well, and Taylor would give you the feeling that he could win. Whereas I feel like if it was Rory and Connors, you just know Rory's gonna win.
Yeah, Connors would give you the feeling the 3-putt is coming. Well, Taylor gives you the feeling this 50-footer might fucking be turned into magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or this chip off the green, just magic bean. Might magic just answer with a magic bean. Which I don't think anyone in Golf Canada golf fans believes, or golf fans in general believe Corey Connors has, but you just got to do it, then we'll believe you forever.
Trying to find, EPAT alluded to that there was one event played here on like the PGA Tour Americas event.
Yeah, and
after I'm trying to find it, I just can't.
Okay, so obviously a lot of people like hit up my DMs thinking I could give them advice on the course, but I just hadn't played it. I'm
looking at the Fortinet
the guy that
Cup
won
Championship from 2022. And Etienne Papineau was in the field, and so was Joe Highsmith, weirdly enough. And Scott Stevens, he retired from the Devils and played on the PGA Tour of Canada.
So apparently, like, the last event that was played here was won by a guy who's 6'5" and is a monster and hits it a mile.
I believe Jake Knapp played in that field too.
So, I mean, I've no doubt someone could bang Griffin. I mean, geez. Wasn't Ben Griffin on a leaderboard in Canada a couple years ago?
That was last year. It was him and Bobby Mack in the final group. That's when the first thing about his eyesight came in. He had just come back from LASIK eye surgery or whatever the surgery was. He was wearing sunglasses. We're like, why is this guy wearing sunglasses? It's like not nice out right now. It's not sunny out. But they weren't aviators then. They were like I feel like the Cameron Maben early 2000s Florida Marlins outfielder sunglasses. The David Duvals, let's call them
Ooh.
that.
You know, like random cheeky international who might fit the bill. Ryan Fox, Pat.
That was the name that I kept coming back to, like looking down this board. Ryan Fox, even a Kitayama. I know he's an American player, but they have this sort of game that you would kind of like for this. They can just hack it out of that rough if it gets long, and they have the distance to cover it too.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm betting inside of 30, which means I'll probably bet a bunch of these longer shots. I don't want to lose my shirt the week before a major. That being said, like maybe I'm alone in this, Pat. And I know I say these things a lot. Then, like, you know, you talk to me on Wednesday or you follow up with me on the cut sweat on Friday, and I'm like, yeah, I bet a ton and I'll lose my shirt this week. I don't know the pathway to betting a lot of money next week. It's a major. So you're not like going down the board. You already know there's only so, like, the finite of guys is so small. The Scotty factor, like in terms of my actual output to win risk next week for a major, I don't know that's going to be close to what I usually want to output. That being said,
it depends on the market, right?
You're right. Because if they do what I say they should do and everybody gets air, then I'm going to be like, yeah, I will not be turning down Neiman at 50-1. I'm an idiot.
Well, you wouldn't turn down Neiman at 8-1 either.
Well, we'll see. We'll get there next. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Tickets are still on sale for the show this Saturday, our live show, by the way. Hit this. I probably should have mentioned that off the top of
the
show.
I moved a couple this morning.
Yeah, I saw it in the past week. We sold like an extra 50 tickets. So we're right at the fringe of seating. So if you do want to get a ticket right now, they're still available. They're like $45. The show is going to start, I believe, at 1:30 Eastern time on the Saturday. Doors open at 1 p.m. at the Rec Room in Toronto. But there's seating capacity for up to 190 people, and I think we have like 175 tickets sold already. So there is standing room that you can just hang out by the bar the entire time if you want to. 4 extra people, an extra 75, I think it is. But you know, even if we just sell out to the seats that are there, I'm very happy with that. Yeah, the link to buy the tickets in the description, by the way.
Listen, I'm happy with any numbers, not knowing all the details, but I'm one of the people like live show, like I'm afraid to sell like 4 tickets. So I'm happy people responded and we're going to fill the chairs. I'm excited. And yeah, gonna get, I am, my wife does thing. We ask the kids like what they're most excited about this week or, you know, any events or school things. And then it's my turn. And I said, yeah, I gotta hang out with the fans and specifically friends like you, Kenny, and Tim.
And Cam.
Of course. Oh, Cam. See, literally a human interaction with Cam. It's like finding Pokeroo, Bigfoot, and I know him. I consider him a friend. I want to go to the Jays game. I've kind of stopped offering to like golf because that's just like more of a thing. But I and maybe listen, I know you could say like maybe Cam just doesn't like Fienberg. I know how other people get the same responses that there's no way he doesn't like. So I get it. He's a white whale. Like he's a shooting star in terms of me having a human interaction. So I'm jealous. Got to share him with you guys.
I haven't seen Cam in person since he came into studio once when Paul and I were still underneath that Shoppers Drug Mart by where we're doing the live show. What's that been? 6 years since you've seen Cam in person?
Yeah. About right.
Paul and Cody will be there too. Fans of the former Dogger Pass, now Bookie Beatdown.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of like old faces I'm hoping like roll through from the Pat Mayo orbit.
And you see Pizzola every week, so that's not so special anymore.
Yeah. No, I see a lot of Pizzola. He was out in Vegas playing in like World Series poker events.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was a poker guy, or is he just like an online guy with Bitcoin, so of course he plays poker too?
Yeah, Pat, like he's essentially our age. Him and his wife, like life decision, pets, not kids. he can do whatever he wants.
Are they?
I don't say that as a knock. I mean, like, yeah, okay, go to Vegas, spend your money on poker. You know, I gotta have my kids in camp and programs all summer.
Oh yeah, my wife and I had to be like first at the list for when school ends at there's the yacht club. Well, it's not a yacht club. I don't even know what you would call it. It's like a country club, but it doesn't have golf. It has like tennis, sailing, that kind of thing. We're members. It's close to our house. Fortunately,
they can watch the kids.
There's like day camps all summer there from like
Perfect.
8 to 5, whatever it might be. It's like, well,
Yeah.
it'd be nice if the kids got good at tennis and sailing and learned how to do these things. Just be outdoorsy. Like there's basketball camps there as well. So we had to be, but there's only a limited amount of spots. So we're on 2 computers trying to figure this all out. I really need an assistant who can do all this stuff. I need to make more money. Figure out a way for me to make more money, and I will pay for that person.
All right, guys, help Pat make more money, buy more seats. Shouldn't be lose less money, but just buy more seats.
Yeah, I mean, if I just quit
Bring a friend.
if I just quit gambling, then I could probably afford all this.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to do that.
yeah, I don't want to do that. And shout out credit. I'm sure people have done better than us. Thoughts and prayers to guys who are still struggling to hit winners. Was able to nab 4 before the Masters in the Scotty injured realm. Nothing since. Don't know what's coming into the future. And then it's quickly into these tournaments, Pat. Luckily, DraftKings is banned for me because it would be the betting and the DFS. But like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this? Like, I just like 5 over already. Just, and there's only one guy winning.
I had a good week on DraftKings. It was a nice week for me. Having Nick Taylor really helped, as it turns out.
And no offense, like I'm sure there's outright bettors maybe now are like, I'll just do more DraftKings, less betting. Like people that would maybe split because I'm speaking a lot of hyperbolic about Scotty, but it's.
Well, okay,
yeah.
Here's the essential question. Why was it fun when Tiger did this, and why is it no fun when Scotty does it?
I would only be betting golf during majors when Tiger did it. Like that's for sure just the true and short of it, if even betting golf at all. And at a lot of points of Tiger's career, I didn't, there wasn't online gambling and I couldn't even make an outright golf bet. Like betting on golf wasn't even a thing. It wasn't on the pro lines that, there are convenience store games here. Like you had to be in Vegas to bet golf. So you just cheered for Tiger because I didn't have a bet on the guy at 30-1.
Makes sense. I have some guys 100 to 1 plus. Who I was going to bet on them regardless.
Can I guess one?
I have 3, and one is 110, one is 150, and the other one is 150 with each way odds. You can get them, I think, at 200 if you just want to bet them outright, which I don't have a ton of interest in. Let's see. You get
Toasty, Phillips.
You nailed Toasty right off the top.
Yeah,
well,
I think we should.
If distance matters, I mean, making a 4-foot putt might matter when it comes down to it, but he doesn't really do that too well. But if he did, he wouldn't be 150 to 1.
Yeah, okay. I'll ride with Toasty. I don't think Phillips is a crazy shout this week either.
Not my guy. I'm going to end up a lot of money lifetime on Phillips. I think.
I back that. Sure. Yeah. Just because we won doesn't mean we got to ride for any time. Yep. That's good. You hit it. You banged it. You can brag to your friends that you tapped it, but you don't have the crazy. I like it. A guy who is continuing to play well, Pat. I don't know if it's a course fit. And we've kind of been like watching the form kind of start to happen.
Is he one of my guys? Oh, Grillo. Yeah. Okay. Grillo. I can see it. He in the modeling that I rated out past, what are we at here? 36 rounds. Grillo's much worse in that version of it. Grillo is 71st. So to your point, Grillo is 71st in the past 36 rounds in the numbers that I've ran. But if you go super short term to past 12 rounds, Grillo is 8th.
Listen, he's a guy I keep an eye on because he needs to heat up like that oven. And like Tim, he'll just turn the oven on to 350 and he'll put it in right away. There's some things that you need to just let the oven heat up first. And that's Grillo.
I don't know if I like him here and maybe, listen, he just played pretty well at Colonial, a tournament where he had won before. we are all under the impression that distance is going to be the main factor this week. Not to say that these other guys can't win. The field isn't that strong that someone with a hot iron and putting week can't emerge. But that Griot's not the skill set that I would want here.
Agreed.
He might come ninth, but I just don't think he can win this one.
So I, in the end, agree with you. And I also don't want to overrate a great week at a course that's probably like his favorite on tour, if that makes right. Like that's his happy place. I don't, I take a bit of a grain of salt when you like dominate your happy place.
Did you say,
because not every place is happy.
Did you say a grain of salt or a great assault?
A grain of salt.
Okay. You're not
that
saying,
being said,
hold on, you're not saying rail rided this week or whatever it was last week?
Rail ride. Yeah, I don't know what people like, buddy. You grab on. You the tertiary ancillary.
Did anyone come up to you and be like, Jeff, I use that term all the time. I've heard of that term before. It's not something you just made up.
I definitely didn't make that up. Not a chance.
Okay.
Not a chance. But Griot, I think there's money to be made in Griot, maybe outside once that like month between the US Open and the Open Championship.
Yeah,
maybe.
Let's get him at John Deere. Let's get him at Rocket Mortgage, 3M, those sorts of places.
Done. Yeah. While he's the oven's warm. Absolutely.
The other two that I had, so you nailed Toasty. First pick, got the guy 150 to 1, 8 places already on the card. The other two are 150 and 110, all with 8 places. And one of the guys is actually playing a little bit better now. I like him as a fit for this course, and I just like him, so I hope that he's good. He's tricky. Ricky Castillo, 110 to 1.
Okay. Sorry, I was distracted there. Just got another notice from Pizzola. It appears a lot of people, since he started this like gossip show, he gets a lot of like lawsuit threats. So
everyone you work with is getting threatened to be sued. Me, Pizzola, just
you're still like irks. Shit, Ricky Castillo. I like it. Is Celinda here?
Celinda is here, and I gave him a hard look. He didn't make the cut for me. The guy I actually bet was Antoine Rosner at 150 to 1. Has the distance, has the long iron play. He rates out first in my model, too. So I was like, well, I can't ignore that. Even though that seems like absolute fool's gold in the past, and this is the very short-term one, but he's second in approach, second in long approaches. Well, first, if you combine 175 plus, he's playing long par fours really, really well. Dude can't putt to save his life, but maybe we get lucky. That's with 8 places, though. So if he just comes 6th, I'm pretty happy.
Interesting. And just to confirm, Castillo's the one with like the white shell necklace, because I always mix him and Celinda up. They're the same guy to me. I know we joke about everyone has their thing at the moment. They're the same, but I know one of them looks like little shells.
Oh yeah,
around his neck.
That's Ricky Castillo.
Okay.
And Ricky Castillo's also like, I'm the best player on the PGA Tour. I don't understand why I'm not on TV all the time. I love
Patrick Reed vibes.
I love this guy.
Do you, remember, it was also near the start of our days when Reed won at Doral.
And he's like, I'm a top 5 player in the world.
Like, oh, you are awesome, dude. Like, I love that shit. I got to know when golfers do that, whatever you need to do to get you through this grind, because there aren't other people putting air in your tires. So if you got to be the one putting air in your own tires, so be it.
Wildly inconsistent, but the putting is getting a little bit better, especially the short-term putting for Castillo. But long-term, 30th in the field in distance, 16th in approach, plays the long par fours really, really well. It's really the putter that holds him back. And he was 5th at the CJ Cup, another Bombers plays. He was 12th at the Valspar. He was 15th at Farmers earlier this year. A bunch of miscuts. It's plastered in between there. But a lot of that generally is just putting. The ball striking coming in. Like the past 2 tournaments, he's gained 6 on approach and 4 on approach, gaining 2 off the tee per off the tee. I like what I'm seeing. And generally around the green, he's quite good. It's the short putt. He has a case of the toasties where it's like, oh, a 4-foot putt that's straight in, no chance.
I know we're going to get out of here in a sec, so I don't mean to go backwards.
You can go backwards. We got time. Waiting to hear back from Andrew Novak for when he wants to do a show this week.
Let's do it. Olesen
is like 40-1.
Yeah, no, but that's why. Like, I'm asking why. Like, he's not popular. There's not a ton of name value. Is he playing? I'm opening him up right now. Okay, like he's playing
well. He's playing good.
Yeah.
Tee to green especially, he's been playing great. But well, maybe he wins. But
no, I just should not. I know we do this a lot. Like, he is no different than the guys 20, 30, 40 points behind him.
I don't understand why he is favored over Ryan Fox in this tournament, for example.
Great. A guy who I think I'm going to actually back.
Who just won like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't, Olesen's fine if he won. Like, I wouldn't be floored or anything like that. But he has an ability.
I find it strange that he's the same odds as Alex Noren, who just played in the final group at the PGA Championship. Now, I do think that Noren might be overvalued as well, but still very strange to me. Snakes on a plane. Thorbjorn Olesen.
Like, who is... Like, if Thorbjorn Olesen is 75-1, are people like running to bet that?
I don't think so, no.
And another one, Johnny Kiefer
was 60-1 at Open. He's already down to 80. He seems like a guy Sky would be all over.
Yeah, he's the Corn Ferry Maven. I don't know that he's the longest hitter, though.
I don't really know all that much about smoking the Kiefer over here.
Yeah, welcome to Canada, bud.
72nd in driving distance. That only accounts for 6 rounds of play, though, on the PGA Tour. You can go look at his numbers from Corn Ferry, but
again, just like I don't know, is this shit a Disney movie? Like, this guy who a lot of people never heard of, just respectfully, 60-1, gonna win. Like, he's just, I'm not looking to fade him in a matchup or anything, but I mean, right through it with red ink.
Just seems like a very odd number versus what you would think that the books can get on some of these guys. That the fact that he's 30 points ahead of Thigala, who I granted is playing like absolute dog shit, but still strange to me.
And I am I like to call myself a sophisticated square, but if I'm a sports book, I know it's all math. It is all math, in a way where, like, I always knew from a young age that poker was math, but it really didn't click into me, Pat, until like we got to fantasy and like just chatting with smarter people or, just more conversations or even like picking Pizzola's brain about it. Took me a lot later in life to realize the math of betting. It was almost like, no, I know sports. That guy's good. That guy's not good. That team's good. That team's not good. I lose a lot of money that way. That being said, if I ran a book, I'd be like, oh, there's like these hardo golf fans that like want to bet Johnny Kiefer. I wouldn't set him to 60. I'd set him to 90 and be like, go wild. Now, I say that as a sports book, assuming I could like afford to eat the loss, but like, I'll bait you into making these bets. So, as opposed to give you a number that like only a crack at it Kiefer fan would want.
DM Jeff if you want 100-1 on Johnny Kiefer this week is what.
No, I'm not taking them. I'm not. I if you win, we'll have a payment plan. I'm not taking them.
So Johnny Kiefer, to take a look at it, he won the Viratrex Bank Championship on the Corn Ferry Tour 5 starts ago. He was second in Knoxville on KFT last year. He was T12 last week at the UNC Health Championship presented by Stitch. He missed a cut at the PGA Championship. So good on the Corn Ferry, not good in majors. He played in the Pro Core last year and came T13. That's his only other one. Like, he's worked his way up from the Canadian Tour, I guess the PGA Tour of Americas now, to KFT. He's been the best player on all of these tours. I would expect to see him be good, but this is no different than like when Scheffler beat up Corn Ferry, came up, and it took him 3 years to win. And then he turned into Scotty Scheffler. Yeah. I don't think Kiefer is turning into Scheffler.
And that's why I say, like, I could easily see, like, I'm not betting Clanton, but if he plays great this week, like, I expect him to play really well. But to that point on Scheffler or, just, I don't know, it's hard. I feel like I don't think he'll be overwhelmed because, he's gotten a lot of starts as we've spoken through. But yeah, winning's hard. I'll just bet on other guys who don't win. Don't worry.
Quick picks and one and done for the Canadian L'Open de Canada, Geoff. You will see both. If you go to the course, you will have the RBC Canadian Open and L'Open de Canada présenté par RBC, eh? You know, the dual
I
signs.
have a caddy bib from
Oh, there you go.
the Canadian Open with those pockets, a little Sammy Burns. So maybe that means I should bet him.
Not a bad sign. So I actually kind of filled out a card as we've been going on here. I'm going to bet Bobby Mack and Taylor Pendrith, both 33-1. Both those numbers at cool bet right now. Ricky Castillo, 110, all with 8 plays. These are all with 8 places. Castillo, 110, Rosner, 150, Toasty, 150. And I bet Thorbjornsen at 70 with those 8 places as well. I'm going to circle back, your guy, circle back, catch it on the Circles Off channel on Tuesday morning with you. I assume you're going to go record that later with you and Pizzola. But I'm going to give Burns a hard look. I'm going to give Fox a long look. But I already have 2 guys at 33-1. I could add another, like with the card that I built. I have 2 guys at 33, 3 guys above 110, and 1 guy at 70. So it's not the end of the world. I can add guys to this card if I want to. Do I want to? I got the rest of the week to figure that out. So the newsletter will have all of that. When I'm not doing the show with Tambo this week, I'm doing the show with Raza. I'll have the final betting card on that. And I also bet Straka 80-1 to win the U.S. Open next week as well. That gives me, I had Zalatoris at 50-1. Fortunately, they have given me my money back on that one, Geoff. That was nice.
Oh, awesome. You know what? I'm happy for you guys. There's a slew of like Zal future bettors, which, hey, like Christmas is a far time from majors. Guys can find it. That's the fine edge we walk playing them. Good for you guys. Get that back. I mean that. I know it might not sound like I'm joking, but I'm happy you guys got that back. Good for you.
So who are you in on already?
So I am in on Pendrith.
Okay.
I'm in on Pendrith. I bet it 35-1. It just feels like a number that will be very good. I think by the time everyone gets through it. That being said, full cash out capability on that one. So this will go one of 2 ways. We didn't talk about it much because I'm ashamed to admit it because it didn't go over well when I did admit it. But this is either like a compact Ludwig, Pendy, Thorbjornsen, Rio, like just a 4-man, Ludwig and some longers, or it is like Pendy, Burns, and then a party, like a party at the back, like a mullet party. I've kind of said the names: Thorbjornsen, Rio, Fox, Toasty. Even there's Norgard Miller. So yeah, I would just have a party back there. But it depends, like Ludwig or not, will depend how this thing gets built.
One and done picks for the Canadian Open. Cust is going with Nikolai Hogjaard, as he has used Rasmus Hogjaard earlier on this season. None of us really. Cust actually won last week with Bobby Mack at 250K. I thought our Hovland and Xander picks were going to turn out pretty well, and then mine, Victor, went kaputs at the end of the first round. That was the end of him, and Xander just slowly blooded away over the course of the weekend after going into Saturday inside the top 10. So it's still my pick over you right now because I had won the week before and we tied last week. I'm going to take Bobby Mack as my one and done. I'm guessing you're taking Pendrith?
I'm thinking about Rory too.
Why would you burn Rory here for a non... Like, this is a discussion Tambo and I had last week because we were talking about if you had Scotty left going into last week, where would be the best spot to use Scotty? And we both agreed it was at Memorial. It's the spot with the most money against the weakest field that he's going to face. Like, why would you use him at the U.S. Open?
So then maybe I'd save him at the FedEx Cup because I will use Scotty next week in our contest.
Okay.
Because I haven't used him yet. I don't know if Tim has.
Tim used him at the Players Championship.
Yeah, so I'll be using Scotty next week. And then, like, is Rory going to win Portrush?
I mean, I hope Seb Straka wins Portrush.
I agree. And the thing with Rory is, like, obviously watching him win the Masters and it all happening, we all have these moments of like, oh my God, like Rory house money summer, like monkeys off his back, all that way, like totally free to like freewheel it. But then there's the other flip side of like guys who win the Masters historically, like don't go on to have great seasons. Doesn't mean he's not going to win anything else or win something special, but it takes a lot out of you for anyone to win the Masters. And then when you think about that on like normal terms, clearly Rory winning the Masters felt like 5x of anyone else ever winning it in terms of like how drained he was. And he has, as you've noted, he has spent a lot of time enjoying friends and family as he should. And in Canada, we are fucking honored. There was some talk last week about him not being at Jack's place. Thank you, Rory. Maybe some other high-end players who get all these free, no-cut, elevated paydays could do a great service to the game by maybe missing one and replacing it with an event that is like not near in the stratosphere, but it would just do great things. That is a more of an altruistic view. I don't think that's possible. I'm not actually expecting anyone to do it, but when it happens, it should be appreciated. And Rory very much appreciated up here, even when he was in his major championship drought. So more so now. I don't know where I finished, other than I didn't officially give a pick.
Here's why I wouldn't use Rory if I were you. Because you're down by almost $4 million to me. You're ahead of Cust, but you're almost $4 million behind me. You getting a win with Rory this week nets you, what, $1.6 million? You kind of need Rory at one of the big events to save him to win, and then you catch all the way up.
Yeah, you're right. I got to get Scotty next week and then time Rory right. You're not wrong. I'm going to... You'd think I should wait for him to play better, but fuck it. Ludwig.
Yeah, you're not going to use Ludwig at one of the big ones.
No, doesn't seem like it.
So, yeah, there you are. You have Ludwig.
Oh,
you're definitely betting him now too, aren't you? That
one. Can I say something?
Can
I say something mean-spirited?
Oh, sure.
Can I say something mean-spirited?
That's what the show is all about.
Not actually, but and I know like we've exhausted it, so we won't deep dive it. But there was a moment like Morikawa was playing great early in this tournament. I'm like, he's probably like when it gets to him, he's probably gonna melt. He melted way early, but in like an ideal world, I am sick and twisted where I was like, I actually don't want him to melt till Sunday in the final group, or not even melt, just like not win. And like you're at Jack's place. Like you'll be doing a 40-minute session on how you gag that motherfucker. But in the end, he just shat the bed like an hour into Friday, and it was never a thing.
Do you want to quickly go over the odds for LIV Virginia?
Yeah, let's do it. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Vincenzi. Hired on full time. He is now a full-time content guy. Couldn't be more proud of him. I know that like people are like giving him endless amounts of shit. Oh, you're LIV bot. Dude is making a fucking living now writing about LIV. What are you doing? Would be my question. Oh, you're giving out golf bets for free on the internet? Here's a guy who now has a career getting paid doing it.
Getting paid. LIV is treating him well. I am very proud of Matt. I am thrilled for Matt. Listen, Matt, very polarizing, but I too like can be nuts on the internet at times or super sensitive. So that isn't a fair reason for me.
No one believes that, Jeff.
No, I'm saying, so I have, listen, Matt might say things or tweet things that I don't totally agree with. I'm also can be crazy on the internet at times and should put the phone away. This is a guy, Matt works hard. Matt's a teacher and he just got an incredible opportunity. Shout out to the teachers. You won't spend 20 minutes in my kid's class. I want to kill myself. So like what an incredible, gets to travel around the world now watching golf. Oh my God. Okay. And unlike, I'm not comparing Matt to Rick Shields. That's laughable. That's not what I'm doing. But my point being is a lot of people jettison to LIV and they are proven fucking hypocrites. It is in their content, their written word, their spoken word. Matt, listen, I don't know him well. Like I've only met him on the internet. I've never actually met him. If this was like the plan from go, then like great work. It worked out. I don't know that it was. I actually don't believe it. I think he doesn't tweet anything he doesn't believe, and he believed what he was tweeting. And I'll give him credit for that. Like, he's no fucking hypocrite. So you can't hold that over him. I am very proud of him. And people being like, how can you, like, you hate Liv? Why are you happy for him? Are people insane? Like, if I had a friend or someone I knew that got a job with the Raiders, I'd be like, fuck the Raiders. I'm so fucking happy for you. Like, what are we talking about here, people? So again, I used a lot of words and I wasn't concise, but I'm thrilled for what an incredible opportunity. I am very happy for him. I'm actually going on with his buddy Blake today to talk the Canadian Open. I don't know if Matt has PGA content restrictions now.
Yes,
So
I believe that he does. I don't think he's going to be talking much about the PGA anymore.
Yeah, so I don't know if we'll be getting like Matt's betting cards. And listen, Matt is like him, not like him. Like, the guy puts his money where his mouth is, like, on pretty much everything. So again, roundabout way of saying, like, congrats to Matt. And here on your point, like, what are other people doing? This guy is now traveling the world, gonna like be talking with Bryson, John Rahm, Neiman. Like, sure, will he have to glad hand the Majestics? Whatever. I got friends that work for team websites. Right? It's the game. Sports. And just because I disagree with Matt about, like, you disagree with your friends about things in sports?
Never.
Players?
I'd never. I only have friends that agree with me. That's how I roll. Clearly.
No, but I mean, like, it's no, like, I disagree with my friends on organizations, on how rebuilds should be done, on trades, on drafts. Like, like, it's because I disagree with someone about a sport or something sports related. Doesn't mean like I can't still like them. So I lost my voice now. I gotta throw up.
You know what? You said the magic name, and he must be playing like absolute garbage considering Carlos Ortiz is 22-1 in this tournament. So I just bet Abe Answer 66-1.
How bad is he playing? Holy shit.
I don't know. That seems like a very big number for, like you said, if they played against a bunch of scrubs, he has the perfect skill set.
Yeah, I guess I should open up the odds. I mean, it's hard to look past the first five. I don't know. Tyrrell Hatton. That's my pick to win.
That's 11-1 for Tyrrell Hatton.
He's actually the only bet I have for next week too, because I made them both at the same time, the PGA and the US Open.
Let's see here. That could be a bet. Where is he on the board? He's going to be like 20-1 or something like that. Oh no, he's not.
50, 60, right?
He's also, this guy's also 66-1, so I'll bet him too. I'll bet Abe Answer and Charles Howell III coming off a second place LIV finish. And he was a part of that collection of names that I mentioned that played well 10 years ago at this course. Why not? Why not CH3?
And what about a little like Taylor Gooch the week before the US Open, just for storylines?
Does he even play on LIV anymore? He actually came third last time out. Failed to beat Charles Howell III. He has one top 10 on LIV this year.
I had a buddy of mine who doesn't hate Patrick Reed, but he's like, I actually hope Patrick Reed wins LIV Virginia, because then his US Open markets at Oakmont are going to, like, even before the PGA Championship, it felt like he was getting, had a great Masters. There's just like a lot of buzz. We play a part in that. And he's like, I'm going to take such advantage of like these ridiculous, like fading Reed or head to heads. I'm like, to each your own, buddy, to each your own. But Hatton will be my pick for LIV Virginia. If it was a normal golf course, like, I shouldn't say that. If it was like a bigger golf course, I'd for sure probably be leaning John Rahm though.
Answer had a nice run earlier in the season. He's been bad each of the past three events, but it just seems like guys turn it around all of a sudden on LIV, and who knows? So let's go with that route.
There's a lot of time to practice.
That's true. I mean, these recent results, his past three tournaments over the past 4 months or something. You see this rumor about Sergio leaving LIV?
Nope. Contracts are up, Pat. Like the day one, the first run of guys, they're coming up, and that is a truly like it feels like the fork in the road. Like what the Bryson contract is probably determines a lot of the future and probably determines what the PGA's next move is going to be.
Probably, but it seems like Sergio's not even going back to the PGA Tour. Chances are he finishes his career as like an ambassador playing on the DP World Tour. Hey, he'll play.
Which is pretty.
He'll play. I mean, that would be, if you ever wanted to save your reputation, I think that would be it.
Yeah, and that might get him back in like the Ryder Cup program, just part of like the infrastructure of the team. I would only say that might be a weird fit because he's like a full-blown Austin boy now. Austin, Texas, like full out.
Yeah, these guys have private planes. They can fly around.
Oh yeah.
It's nothing
sure.
it's nothing to go play the Belgium Open, the Swiss Open, and the Czech Masters in back-to-back weeks and fly back.
I haven't seen that story. I will keenly look into it. I sent the thing about LIV, Pat.
Well, here it is. Here's the whole thing. It's that Jose Ballester. He was the guy who pissed in the Rays Creek, wasn't he? Was that him?
Yep.
Yeah, he's declining his Corn Ferry membership, so the rumors are that he's going to LIV. I should talk to my LIV insider about this, see what he knows.
We have a new LIV insider.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry. I'm slow. Yes, if Sergio owns the Fireballs, if I own the Fireballs, I would want to sign that kit.
Well, can you believe that Sergio might walk away from his lucrative stake in the Fireballs?
Maybe he's not walking away from it, though. Maybe he's still an owner.
Or maybe it's worth $0.
Maybe. But I did want to say, usually when people like agree with you, it's a lot harder for them to comment, right? Like that's like, just take talk radio. I produced it forever. More people called in to say like they disagree with what the host is saying than ever be like, I agree. Great point. Right? That's just like human nature or comments.
Yeah. And just look at the comment section for anything. It's not good point. Very few people are stepping out of their lane to tell you that.
So I sent out a tweet early last week that essentially paraphrased everything I said on this show last week, and that LIV really has nothing for the PGA Tour outside of like 3 to 5 employees. They like anyone who likes LIV probably liked the PGA Tour, watched the PGA Tour before. There's no one who's like, I only watch LIV and not the PGA Tour. They can say that, but it's not true. Like there's no brand new golf fan that that the PGA Tour can onboard if LIV ceases to exist. I believe that to be true. I don't believe the LIV brand is particularly strong. I shouldn't say worthless. I don't really know that there's many corporate relationships. Just look on the sponsorships that the PGA Tour cares to have. And in terms of like institutional infrastructure, it would be redundant for a lot of like the people who organize events to then be PGA Tour employees or work for them. They already have these people. So there's no institutional infrastructure for them to onboard. This tweet blew up. The tweet blew up. But what's so fascinating about the tweet and as it pertains to LIV, surely, and don't get me wrong, I sent the tweet in the first 20 minutes, I was responding to people because I felt like those were my followers. Then the tweet gets so big where you can't even keep track of there's just too many comments where you just sort of like, I'm out of it now, which happened here. But looking through it, like the amount of people, like when it comes to LIV, who want to tell you, don't get me wrong, there's still like the 10%, 12, 15% that tell me I'm wrong. But the amount of people as it pertains to LIV, like it's such a passionate discourse where people do want to be like, I agree, man. Way to go. You're absolutely right. It is like the only thing I've ever seen where people want to tell you comment to tell you they agree. That does not happen in any other things that I tweet.
I'm just looking through it right now. There's that one guy who commented to you who I thought was a satire account, but isn't. This Red Harrington guy, I thought he was like a parody account.
No,
like the three letter.
He's not a parody.
3 Letterman
but
guy.
I have to give him some respect. And that if he genuinely loves LIV, I love sports. So if that's what you love, I guess love it. But yes, he's not a parody account. He is like a true LIV hardcore fan. The thing about Red though is which is, I think, important to at least context of him. Not to say it's everything, but he is like a former PGA Tour employee. So, Pat, me, like sometimes I go leave places I'm not too fond anymore. And if they were in some like entertainment war, I might be tweeting on the other side. So just for context, but he's hardcore. I'll give him that, and not a bot. So I'll give him that too.
I'm trying to. It's pretty easy to go through it to see who are bots and who are not. I just clicked on 5 in a row who really did not agree with you, and they've been LIV fans since day one. They don't even watch the PGA Tour. Yet suspiciously, they all tweet exactly the same things and retweet exactly the same things. Usually Elon Musk stuff.
Yeah, granted, like the bots, you can actually
you can suss those out pretty easily
on their bot farm. Like they've cut back, and I get it. That was part of like the culture. I guess still is in many ways on the internet, especially Twitter, which can be a total cesspool. But they are clearly let some bot farm invoices in the trash can because they're not re-upping.
Like I said, they would be better off doing what TGL did and just pay real people to do it instead of fake checkmark accounts.
Yeah. And I thought you had an incredible suggestion last week. Pay the sports books to make you the first listed golf tournament.
Yeah, there's the little edges that you can get in marketing. I mean, I've used these in my entire career. Like for a while when I changed the name of this show on Apple Podcasts to A Pat Mayo Experience, simply because it would just pop up to the beginning of everyone's timelines. Because alphabetical order-wise, A space ended up being much better. Now I stopped doing that because I just got sick of it. But maybe if you see it change back again, maybe that's going to be why that ends up being the case. Just to bump it back up to the top of people's timelines when major season and football season ends up coming around. But for a company that has so much money, unlimited funds even, they weirdly need to try more guerrilla marketing style. And fake engagement isn't it. Phony engagement might be it, but fake engagement isn't it.
Yeah, and honestly, to piggyback off that, like him or hate him, I think Matt is a fantastic hire for them.
Agreed. He's a
like
real person. He writes about golf. He's a good writer, and he's just pro golf. Like,
yes,
it's not like he dislikes the PGA Tour, but now he's going to be writing for LIV. Well, whatever.
I mean, like a lot of us, like even me, like we all have our gripes about the PGA Tour or Monahan, but yeah, no, Matt's a good writer. He is fully embraced in, I have, but like he is like fully aware of like how golf Twitter works per se, I guess. That he can be a great asset for them and even from a betting content. I mean, Matt does not net. And he wins bets. That's just documented. You can like him, hate him. Like the proof is in the pudding. That guy meets his quota of wins.
Tomorrow on the Pat Mayo Experience, I am digging back into football, talking about some different strategies and a really cool new underdog tournament for best ball season that's out. It's called the Eliminator. So I talk through strategy with Nez on that one, and we do a draft and just talk about general NFL stuff, guys in new places, which Tim called boring. I didn't find this so boring because we incorporated it in a new, fun way into the show just to talk about different teams that we like and who could surprise so far this year. So that's out. Then Wednesday, Raza and I for the DraftKings picks, the final play, everything, and underdog plays for the Canadian Open. U.S. Open week starts on Thursday. I got 3 shows before next week. We obviously have the live show this weekend. We'll release that at a later date. Then me, you, and Cust will be talking U.S. Open Monday. Me, Cam, and someone on Tuesday. Me and Tambo on Wednesday. Lots of stuff coming out for the U.S. Open. It's a big 2 weeks for the Pat Mayo Experience.
A great 2 weeks. Like we said, Memorial, Canada, U.S. Open, Travelers, maybe the best pocket of the year.
Additionally, if I have anyone who watches this show in Kansas City, email mayomediainc@gmail.com if you're interested in playing in a golf tournament. I'm just throwing that out there right now because I might be coming to town to play in something. Need some teammates for it. It's not confirmed yet, but if you guys are around, I believe it's Kansas. Yeah, it's Kansas City.
I know we have a lot of Chiefs fans in the Mayo media orbit. I hear from them and they're fans. I don't know if they actually live in the proper area you need, but I know Chiefs Kingdom supports your operation. Let me know.
Do you think that's just to troll you?
that doesn't matter different unless it's the same person from like different Chiefs Kingdom fan account. Like that seem like they do seem like lovely, nice, normal Midwest people.
Yeah, it's in Kansas City, and it's on a Monday. So I'll just throw that out there. So if you're in Kansas City, figure it out. I probably should have said this at the beginning of the show, but here we are.
This was like the Monday after like a light work situation.
Yeah, it's post major. So post major season. So later on in the summer when we're like, yeah, whatever. Getting ready.
I'm jealous. Tim will be Tim and I will be jealous of the barbecue you won't eat.
I'll probably enjoy some barbecue when I'm down there.
Okay.
I had a private chef come in this weekend for my wife's birthday.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's an experience.
That is yeah, I've never like orchestrated that, but I've seen that in action and it's delicious.
Yeah, it was. She always wanted, like, since we moved back here, one of her big things. She even bought a gigantic dining room table for a room that like we never use.
Oh.
And she's like, I want to have dinner parties. Like, she's like, this is why we're moving back here, that we can do all these things. In 3.5 years, we haven't had one. So for her birthday, I was like, let's have a dinner party. I'll organize it all. I'll get a chef to come in. Probably wouldn't do the chef every single time. Gets a bit pricey.
Was Tim there?
No.
It's just her friends, not yours. So
Yeah,
I'm just asking.
Yeah, it was all her friends. I mean, not that she's not.
Yeah.
She's flying with Tim this week up to Toronto. I almost bailed on them to get an earlier flight due to some other commitments, but I can't get there any earlier because of the kid situation. So she was going to have to travel with Cust by herself. I was going to get her.
She would have had to like babysit Tim, like treat him like he's the 5-year-old in the family, like traveling.
Exactly.
Oh, that would have been content.
But now it's the three of us all traveling together. Just seeing Tim's happiness when he goes into the airport lounge, and the lounge in Halifax sucks. It's really bad. I actually
Pardon my ignorance. You're not coming with more people?
Paul and Jared are coming up the next day.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Yeah. And then I
Good,
think
okay.
most people are getting there on Friday. You know, I'm cheap. I didn't want to pay for the extra night of hotel room for everyone.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure. I didn't want to like directly make it awkward, but I was like, "There's no way Paul and Jared aren't coming," and you answered the question. So
Yeah, no, they'll get in the next day.
Yeah.
I just have some stuff to do in Thursday, and I felt like it was probably better if I traveled with Cust rather than leaving him to his own devices.
Yeah, I mean, like Cust and Cam like getting on a plane together would be incredible. Because Cam is insane too at the airport,
and he's afraid of flying too. Cust is not afraid of flying, although he did tell us that he's never fallen asleep on an airplane before. And Paul and Jared were with me when he fell asleep both ways to Montreal, which is an hour-long flight. And then he kept telling us he never fell asleep in a car before. He fell asleep on the way to Royal Montreal every single day. And then even we just went to Cabot, he fell asleep both ways in the car. In fact, he fell asleep twice on the way up.
Listen, he's busy. He's got a lot of things on the go. He needs a power nap.
Although this is going to be, I think, one of the topics for the live show. He said it in the car, and we were floored. He is deathly afraid of 18-wheelers on the highway. Like, he won't pass them. He just tries to avoid them. He doesn't think that, he went on this rant for about half an hour. He doesn't think that they should be on the roads. And his solution to all of this was there should be highways, but they're double-decker highways. So he thinks the entire world should have 2-tier highways, and like one of them is allocated for 18-wheelers, and the rest of them are allocated for the rest of the people.
I mean, listen, like you're in that left lane, you're going to pass that 18-wheeler. It is like 2 hands on the steering wheel, but you just got it and you go. So I could never imagine not passing him. That being said, I would have preferred Tim use his like fat gym analogy and just said there's specific hours. Like during X and X.
That was his original argument. We were like, well, places need things, so that's not going to work.
You're right. It's not going to work. It's very like selfish to think you want those trucks off the road, but then those goods, the stores, the shelves, this is what's filling the things.
He'll talk about it more, but his solution to this was the largest infrastructure and most expensive infrastructure project in the history of the world.
I mean, yeah, I would rather just the city would just buy speed rail at that point.
To build different tiers of highway above existing highways.
It's like aqueducts of highways.
Exactly, but everywhere in the world. On every highway.
See, that is
Crazy. That's what crazy people think.
That's
a crazy person idea.
They did like a paid highway up here like 25 years ago, and it hasn't really been a success in the sense like it's pretty empty. And they want to like maybe force the trucks onto that highway, but you could land an airplane on this thing.
Really? People don't use the toll highway? I use the toll highway here. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's not that like it's just I don't know. Yeah, it's just huge. And even if people are using it, it just doesn't seem like anyone's using it. I don't use it. It's kind of not near me, but I saw that on the news. I don't know why I brought that in.
You could probably use it to get to TPC Toronto.
You would, if I was going to TPC Toronto, I'd ask my mom for her transponder. That's true.
Well, tickets on sale in the description and comment section for this weekend. Maybe Cust can give us his food review of the stuff that's been left out in the lounge for 3 hours. Bet you it's going to be A+ stuff.
Maybe. I'm nervous though, like, because I'd like to treat you boys to lunch, maybe before golf on Friday, but that's gonna, I'll have to bear with Tim's public criticism of food and bevy service.
Tim has never rated anything, even stuff he doesn't like, he rates 8 out of 10.
It's true. And like based on like the gruel that he makes for himself or reheating toast, it's true. Like I got nothing to fear.
All right, that will do it for an extended version of the Pat Mayo Experience. Hope you enjoyed the Canadian Open, the recaps, the fun chat. Smash the like and sub to the channel while you're here. I got some giveaways coming next week, so if you want to get in them in advance, I'd suggest you leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple while you're here, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!